truth, yeah, forget the rest. You propose the lies right out of the park. Look beyond the shadows that set the dark. Sparks of laughter fire up the night, bringing clarity where they blur the fight. Cut through the chaos, yeah, the tangled lies. Steampunk Kelly with the scent of clear eyes. Truths and jokes gonna rock this show. Step into light where the real facts glow.
Hello. Welcome to the first edition of the Punch Show in a little while. I've been kind of taking an unscheduled mental health break because things keep getting weirder and weirder. But even in spite of the fact that I have been taking a break from everything has not been taking a break from me. And things keep getting more insane. And then they got so insane that I have to take a break from my mental health break to talk about, well, the mental health of the country. So, in case you haven't heard, you've been under a rock and just woke up from a long weekend's nap, or you were drunk or whatever. In case you haven't heard, there was another assassination attempt on Donald Trump, which I use these words kind of loosely because I guess if the guy had been able to do it, he may have been able to shoot Trump, but he never actually, it sounds like he maybe never even fired the gun. He was, it might just be the Secret Service that was shooting at him. I've heard different things. But regardless, one way or the other, he was not in the same, he was never in the same room as Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's actual life was never really in jeopardy. But don't leave that, don't think that that's going to prevent the bozos on the right from acting like this somehow means a bunch of things it doesn't mean. So I just want to go through some of the things that they've been talking about, some of the talking points that have been coming out of it, and just address those one at a time. The first thing is, let's start with the calibration of the left. I do not think that this was a staged incident. I can understand why people do think that. But I just, whenever it comes to these things being staged, I always have to question, well, this Cole guy, I forget I think his name was Cole. Like, why would he be incentivized to participate in this? What does he get out of it other than like destroying his entire life? So I don't think that this was staged. I think that the reactions to the Secret Service are, probably overrated a little bit. He wasn't, like I just said, he wasn't able to get anywhere near the president. He tried to run through a checkpoint, and they tackled him to the ground, and nothing came of it. So, like there was never the president's life was never in danger. None of his cabinet's life were in danger. There are other questions I have about the Secret Service, like, why was J.D. Vance rushed out before Donald Trump? I don't understand that. That seems very weird to me. I would think that the priority would be to get the president before the vice president. I think that it's kind of ironic that one of the biggest security failures is in the email by the guy that did the attack, that he was like saying, like, if I were a real terrorist, then, I mean, he didn't say that, but basically he said something like, if I were someone from Iran or something that really wanted to do, damage to everyone, it would be this easy. Like, I just like walking around and, I think that's a valid point. I think that's a fair point. What if he didn't just have a long gun and a handgun and knives? What if he had bombs and then he could have taken out, the we'd be talking about President Grassley right now. So I think there may be some questions that we should ask about security, but I don't think this is staged. I think that's overstated. Rainbow Kitty, how you doing, my buddy? Nice to see you again. Sorry I've been away so long. I just had to take a rest. Had to get away from the chaos. And then the chaos found me, because that's what chaos does. But so anyway, the and happy Monday to you, Elevator, if there is such a thing. So the next thing I want to talk about is there has been a lot of talk about this guy's motivations, and he called the president, at least, seemed to imply the president is a pedophile, a rapist, and a traitor. And, Joe Biden was called all three of these things himself by many people on the right that are blaming the left for this kind of rhetoric that is causing all of this. So I would like to, just for the sake of discussion, postulate the possibility that it is not the rhetoric that is responsible for this kind of attacks. Maybe it's not because people are saying these things about Trump. Because if so, then people saying those things about Joe Biden would have, invoked the same kind of violence, right? They said that he raped what's her name, the one Russian girl that or the one girl that went off to Russia. I forget what her name is right now. But the pantyhose gate. I can't remember what her name is, but she said that Joe Biden sexually assaulted her, and then somebody pointed out that you were required to wear pantyhose at that time, and that what she was saying Joe Biden could have done would have been impossible if she were wearing pantyhose. And there was also a number of other problematic things with it, like all of her friends that she had known for years had, described her as a constant scammer and not to be trusted. But so they accused Joe Biden of being a rapist. They accused Joe Biden not of just being a pedophile, but being a pedophile with his own daughter. She wasn't rushing. She worked. Yes, she did work for him. I don't know what you mean by she wasn't rushing, but she was lying and she did work for him. But that doesn't mean that he assaulted her. The thing, one of the things about the fact that she worked for him is she bragged about it for years and years. And was the media amplifying it? Yes, the media amplified it. And in fact, they went to go investigate it, and that's how we found out about the whole thing being bogus. But yeah, it wasn't treated any differently than these accusations against Trump, any more than the accusations against the representative in California that was forced to step down, or Al Franken, who was forced to step down. Donald Trump loves only Donald Trump. But okay, so that's the first thing is it's not like the rhetoric is exclusive to Donald Trump, or that Joe Biden and Barack Obama never got criticized by the right or something. Come on, give me a break. The Let's Go Brandon Biden crime family. Donald Trump accused Barack Obama of not being a citizen for years while Obama was president. So let's scale back on the rhetoric about let's scale back on the rhetoric. It wasn't the rhetoric that was the issue. And it wasn't, we don't even know what the motives were the first two times. But these were not brainless people who came across, a mean blue sky post and said, I'm going to go kill the president now. All right. So first of all, that is, and that is actually counter incendiary, if you follow me. Like blaming it on the rhetoric means you're like just basically saying everybody who criticized Trump is essentially to blame. If you criticize Trump, you're a murderer. Like criticizing Trump is murder. That's the chain of logic that goes along with it. No, I'm sorry. I can think that Donald Trump is a pedo. I think he can. I believe he's a fascist for sure. I've proved it on this show time and time again, and I certainly know for a fact he is an adjudicated rapist. A jury found him responsible for sexual assault, and that kind of sexual assault with penetration, even if it's digital penetration, can be and is often referred to as rape, even if it doesn't meet the criminal statute in New York City. All right. He is an adjudicated rapist. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. So if you believe those things, like he is in the Epstein files. Now you can sit there and you can talk about that, and you can talk about the evidence and whether or not it's true or not. But to say there's no basis is not being honest. It's not being accurate. There's 100% a basis to say he's a pedophile. There are credible accusations, and I'm not saying I find them credible. I'm saying the FBI found them credible enough to have multiple follow-up interviews, and there still is not an explanation as to why they stopped. There are, and then beyond that, there's other credible accusations about things like when he would want to walk into the Miss Teen Universe pageant and things like that. So maybe it's not people saying those things that are causing it, but maybe it's the fact that those things are true that are causing it. And I am not using that to justify saying, I'm not saying Trump should be shot or Trump deserves to be assassinated. I'm saying maybe the motivations aren't coming from left-wing liberal medias making things up. Maybe it's people reacting to what Trump actually does and says. All right, Donald Trump has called the Democrats the enemy of the people on so many occasions. He's called for people to be executed, including Democratic senators who just said don't commit war crimes. He said Rob Reiner deserved what he got because he made people mad after Rob Reiner's son killed him. He's called the Obamas, well, he posted a video showing the Obamas as monkeys. He's made multiple racist statements. He calls he calls African nations shithole countries. He calls immigrants vermin. He calls immigrants poisoning the American people. These are words that Hitler used. So comparisons to Hitler aren't unfair if they are true. He is the one saying things Hitler said. So maybe it's not the left going all crazy. Maybe it's because it's true. Donald Trump's the one that illegally started not one, but two wars. The second one, jacking up prices around the world. Donald Trump is the one that is deporting fathers and mothers of people just because of where they were born. And you can agree, you can say, I'm fine with him doing that. And I'm fine with your being fine with that. But I'm also fine with people not being fine with that. I also think that it's legal to disagree with Trump. And disagreeing with Trump doesn't make you a murderer. I don't think all the criticism is unfair. I think most of the criticism is entirely fair. You know, and you get people that sit there and they worry about, oh, well, you know, he said, you know, like the very fine people on both sides, as though he didn't actually say those words. He did. He said those words. It's fair to criticize him for that. It's fair to criticize him for suggesting that injecting bleach cures COVID. Literally, people that day, within hours of hearing him say those things, were treated by poison control for doing those things. It's fair to criticize him for his response to COVID and for saying things like it'll all go away, or it's just the common cold, and his treatment of those things. And it's fair to point out that, you know, estimates are that about 400,000 more people died than needed to die because of his reaction to it. Those are fair things, and that was just his first term. It's fair to criticize him for trying to overthrow the country. He did. He tried to overthrow the country on January 6, 2021, as part of a prolonged plan called the Green Bay Sweep, as described by the architect. It was a plan to try and overturn the results of the election. That's being a traitor. I'm sorry. It's not unfair to call him a traitor. He is a traitor. You don't go try and overthrow the results of the election and then say you're not a traitor. Donald Trump is an evil man. And I don't think he does. I'm not trying to justify him being shot or somebody trying to kill him. I don't think he should be murdered. But I don't think that him being murdered somehow vindicates all the evil things he did. They tried to kill Hitler too. Does that make Hitler okay? Like, somebody trying to kill you does not justify all the evil things you did. Well, okay, so I've got some comments here. Okay. Start going through these. Hey, so Rainbow says the worst part of all is that it went straight to Trump's head, like, you know, he's going to use this to his advantage and we're all going to suffer for it. God, I hate politicians. I totally agree. And I'm going to get into the other aspect of this, which is, you know, about the whole ballroom thing in a minute here. Birthday for Melania and I yesterday, 56 and 55th. Wow. Happy belated, Walter. The Don loves us all equally. Yes, he loves us all as much as he loves, I don't know, nothing. So the media was calling Biden a Nazi. People in the right-wing media were calling him a communist. You mean he hates us all equally? He only loves himself. Yeah, I mean, technically, you guys said the same thing. You don't know Don the way I know Don. Yes. Okay. Her pimp. I don't know what that means. Okay. No, I don't believe her. I think you're talking about the one girl. I don't believe her. I gave her the benefit of the doubt at first, but there were some things that were kind of objectively hard to work around, which is why it kind of lost all its steam. You feel free to look it up. I think it was Rolling Stone did an article on it. What did Jimmy Kimmel do? Why is he back? Oh, I think he probably made a Trump joke that offended Trump, probably. She started at 16. I don't know who that is. Of course, Trump was treated differently. They took him to court. They changed the laws. Well, okay, they took him to court because he broke the law. He broke the law. They didn't take him to court just for fun, and they didn't change the law so they could go after him. That's just not true. That law is the law for which he was prosecuted is a law which gets prosecuted about 1,000 times a year in New York State. The other offense, I think what you're doing is you're confusing that with the lifting of the what do they call that, the time limit, the statute of limitations on the rape allegations for the civil offense. And that wasn't for Trump, that was for other reasons, but Trump fell into that. There were many other people that applied to. So again, this is one of those things where MAGA needs to learn to read more. Trump may be the worst person in the world. I don't know him, but I like what he's doing for the country. I like the decisions I would love to hear what you have to say about what he's actually done for the country. Because to me, everything he's doing for the country is completely messed up. But you're free to think that, and I am free to think what I think. My criticizing Trump does not make me a murderer. That's the topic here, buddy. I thought he's doing everything. I thought you hired him for no new wars. So are you mad at him for breaking his no new wars promise, or did you vote for him in spite of the fact that he said no new wars? Which is it, buddy? Come on. You can't sit there and say, what about bringing down prices? Because he hasn't done anything to bring down prices. He's actually done several things that are driving prices up. What about what was the other thing? The Epstein files. He was going to release the Epstein files. Well, he hasn't done that. So what did you vote for him to do that he is doing? So you've never met the guy. Hillary Clinton started that about Obama and not being a citizen. No, that's not true. Donald Trump is a whore. There was a person who funded Hillary Clinton's campaign, or who was donated to Hillary Clinton's campaign, that started it. But Hillary Clinton herself never endorsed it or had anything to do with it. But Donald Trump certainly picked up on it. Donald Trump is a horrible person. And that's about the nicest thing I can say about him. Someone call. Hey, Brett, how you doing, buddy? Benobet, do you not recognize for the last 11 years, every news station, every day, 7 days a week, 52? No, I'm not aware of that. Because it's not true. And again, here's the thing, buddy. Donald Trump does a lot of stuff that's negative. And Fox News sits there and they sit there and they put powder on him every day. And they try to make it sound like everything he does is wonderful and beautiful. But it's fair to criticize the president. Joe Biden got criticized. I didn't see you complaining about Joe Biden getting criticized. Fox News sat there and complained every single day about Joe Biden. They complained every day about Barack Obama for 8 years. They spent 8 years complaining about Bill Clinton. Yeah, no media organization is obligated to sit there and perform fellatio on the president. Criticizing the president is patriotism. I don't know why people keep barking up this tree with Trump. There's plenty of current events to go after. What is an illegal war? One that is being fought illegally. Like, I don't like the kind of undeclared war that Donald Trump is fighting in Iran right now. If you're that uninformed, maybe you shouldn't be on the internet. War is not just war. Do you think the Iranian regime follows little? I don't really care if the Iranian regime didn't start the war. We did. Iran didn't come and bomb us, Tyler. Everyone needs to touch grass, turn off the TV, lay the phone down, and take a break. Well, I don't know if that's true either. I don't think that just ignoring everything makes them go away. Well, Tyler, I guess we should just throw out the Constitution. Why have three branches of government? What is Congress there for? Guess we could get rid of all of them. And that's what Donald Trump would love. Democracy is a scam. Okay. Okay, so sorry. Trying to agree, liked and subbed 2026. Thank you, Rough to the rescue. I don't know what you agreed with, but I hope it was something good. MAGA doesn't hate LGBTQ. Scott Bestman and Tammy Bruce are both gay. I don't really care. I've been on this, done enough of these shows to have people turn everything into a, but what about tell me what a woman is, to know that MAGA hates trans people. Abolish the predator class. Amen. Traitor, do you know something? Are you in the meetings? I don't need to be in the meetings. I watched it on TV. There was the January 6th insurrection where he tried to overthrow the country. Were you not there? Blue wave. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with all this gerrymandering stuff that's going on. But yeah. Now they're trying to gerrymander Florida. That's a good point. It's not like anybody was like, oh no, Jeffrey Epstein died. Let's just forgive every horrible thing he's ever done. Right. You know what the problem with your he's tried to take over the government theory is that you leave yourself out of it. Would you? What are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. No, I would not have gone along with it. And that's not something that's wrong. Like, that doesn't even make sense. He tried to overtake that's not a theory. January 6th, 2021, Donald Trump tried to overthrow the country. That's not a theory. That's not a concept. That's not a spin. That is a literal historical fact. Do I think no, I don't think the citizens of the country would have gone along with it. But it failed, so it doesn't really matter what you or I think would have happened. I mean, if you attempt murder, it's still attempted murder. If somebody survives, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. He doesn't need to be a good person. He can be an evil person. Yes. Whether he's a good or evil person doesn't matter. But whether or not we should be able to criticize him, we're in a free country. The judge should stop the ballroom, did not stop. So there is a bunker. Trump can't carry a ballroom everywhere in the world. Yeah, I made a little video that I might share here. There's a lot there's a lot wrong. I might just talk about the ballroom, but I don't know. Hang on. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this now. I think I might end up showing this video in a bit. Do you need help if you think? Do you need help if you think that he's you guys? You should hear yourself. I don't even know what that's. All right, I just want to read this. Do you need help if you think that he's you guys? You should hear yourself. You should absolutely. You sound absolutely crazy. Dude, that comment sounds unhinged and weird. It doesn't. It's not even a cogent sentence. Hey, Shadow, how you doing today? Done for the country. This guy has caused enough mess that could last. It's going to be a long time between what he's done with our alliances. I mean, he's just wrecked all our alliances. He's done permanent damage to the country. There might be some things he has caused that we will never recover from. Donald Trump is crazy. Whoever supports him should be educated. Where's Kitty? I hope she shows up. I DM'd her to let her know that I was going to be around. So, hopefully. All right, I just sent her a message to let her know that you're asking about her. I may a new plushie will deliver. I'm 2 weeks. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Donald Trump is just trying to, like, here, like, there's this whole thing, like, well, we went to war with Iran and Europe didn't help us. And it's like, you didn't consult with Congress. You didn't consult with any other country. You just decided to do this, and then you expect everyone in the world to get on board with it. You're not king of the world. And you get these, oh, if you was no kings, you wouldn't be able to say that. It's like, shut up. Like, I'm so stupid. I'm so tired of the stupid. It's like every MAGA response has to be, oh, wait, I can think of something dumber to say if I really try. And then they find something dumber to say. It's like every single statement is scripted from stupid land. I think MAGA always asks, what's a woman? Because they really want to know. I know a lot of MAGA men who seem to have never met one, or at least met one that was willing to consent. Keep Americans. This is a good question. This is good. Let's pause here and talk about this. Who's keeping Americans separated? Because we're hearing a lot about, like, the Democrats are doing this and the Democrats are doing that. But every time you hear people on the right say the Democrats are doing this, they're also dividing America, right? Like all of this rhetoric about the Democrats saying this, the Democrats saying that, all of that is also inflammatory rhetoric. It's blaming everything on the Democrats. And it's not taking any responsibility for anything that is fair to criticize the Republicans over or to criticize Trump over. So when you just do that and you just say, you're not allowed to criticize Trump, and if you do, you're basically a murderer who hates America, that's being divisive. Let's engage on the actual topics. Like January 6th was an attempt to overthrow the country. I am so tired of people on the right trying to pretend it was something else. So we got a Kitty here. Hi, Kitty. Jessica. Hey, Jessica. I remember you. Hi. EU has moved on. Did you hear the speech from France? I did not. I was actually had to work today, so I was doing work most of the day. Friend Zone. How you doing, buddy? Oh, brother. We are all alone in the world now. All countries are cutting the USA loose. So yeah. Did we lose what's his name? What happened to did this SLCA guy? Looks like he found out he wasn't going to be able to troll his way into this. We are alone in the world now. All countries are cutting USA loose. We are. I mean, and I don't know that we're going to be able to bounce back from it again. Maybe, I don't know. Because what happened in 2020 is, well, in 2016, 2017, 2016 he won, 2017 he took office the first time. And we were able to kind of move on from that when Biden won in 2020, in spite of all the crap that Trump dragged us through. And it's like Europe was saying, okay, you had a stupid mistake. It's like, when you got the my brother one time had this girlfriend for a while that was sort of a toxic person. And kind of caused some problems in our family. Once he broke up with her and he started dating somebody that wasn't a toxic person, was a lovely person. And, we were all kind of able to move on with that. But if he had kept dating toxic people, we might have had an issue with him eventually. And we're kind of like that. It's like, okay, we had our riddle relationship with Trump, and then we broke up with him like a reasonable country. But then we went back to him after 4 years. Because why? Don't look now. Taiwan by default has become infinitely more difficult to support by way of military. And by way of, like, what is our justification now? Like, I think in 2000 or in 1990, remember 1990? Maybe some people don't. That was actually 36 years ago. Dude, that was a while ago. I'm an old man. Anyway, 36 years ago, we went to war because Saddam Hussein decided he was going to invade Kuwait. And so George Bush Sr. rallied the country, rallied the world together, and basically said, countries have sovereign rights, and as the world, we have to come together and, push Iraq out, preserve this nation's sovereign right. And we did that, the entire world. And then once Iraq was pushed out, the rest of the country, we stopped. Now, people like Donald Trump have said, oh, we should have gone in and taken the oil. But then we would have done what we were accusing them of doing. So Bush made the right choice. I mean, I'm not the first person that's going to defend anything, everything Republicans do. But in that case, I agree. I think both in terms of rallying the world to push out Saddam Hussein and for stopping at the border the way he did, on both counts, I think Bush did the right thing. As opposed to what his son did, which is lie to start the war and then, cause all kinds of chaos and corruption after that. But now we've done this thing in Iran. We've done this thing in Venezuela. Where do we get off being able to tell any country, oh, you don't have the right to go and attack another country for no reason? We keep doing it. So yeah, I agree. How do we stand up for Taiwan? We'll have to. Hopefully, the rest of the world will do it. They've already said it's past the point of return. It's over. Europe has said that. The premier from Manitoba, powerful interview against Trump. Man. Yeah, there's been, I don't know. I mean, there is hopefully, with time and with the right person. I don't know who the right person is. China wants the lithography machines that are capable of creating chips on 3 nanometer architecture. That's why TSMC is building US factories to make those less important. Okay, I will take your word for that because I don't even know what about 1/3 of those words mean, and I know that you do. I know that you actually are really qualified to talk about that. What I do know is that when it comes to things like new energy and AI, China is outpacing us. This whole World Cup thing is going to be a disaster. Either people are boycotting or Trump is refusing to let them in. And here's another thing. With the oil prices being what they are, the gas prices are up, which means that that airline travel is up. You've got Donald Trump talking about ICE agents are going to be patrolling. And it's not like there's a shortage of people that are being illegally detained. So this whole, oh, well, if you're not illegal, what do you have to worry about? Right now, there's over 1,800 lawsuits from people that were illegally detained by ICE. And that's causes fear. My dad is a retired American diplomat. He doesn't want to bring his wife here because his wife is Brazilian. And he doesn't know what would happen if they detained her. He would bring her here legally. He has every legal right to do so. She has every legal right to be here. But the law no longer matters to Trump. And that's like a legitimate and fair criticism of here. People are like, well, you weren't upset when Obama was deporting people or Biden. And it's like, I'm not upset about people being deported. I'm upset about the way people are being deported, and I'm upset about the violations of civil rights. It's not America first, it's America alone, and the rest of the world is forming alliances against America as we speak. Walter agreed. I agree. We're going, I don't know if there's like an extension beyond isolationism, but it's like literally us against the world. And except for Israel. Yeah. Of course, apparently Trump gets his barking orders from Netanyahu. Who wants to hear a Melania Trump joke? Okay, go ahead. Anyone else see? Oh, the Lego videos are awesome. The Lego videos are creative and they're smart. I think they must be done by someone who's was educated in the US, like a fairly young person, because they get the American humor and they do it really well. Why doesn't Melania? I'm going to have to read. Okay, I can't read that out loud. This is a PG channel. They don't care about protocol or decorum. Typical hillbilly BS. When urea and other fertilizer components stop coming in, produce is going to increase 90%. Then when you add on top of that, this is the part that people keep forgetting about, is the mass deportations are also going to affect food. They already are starting to affect food. When you don't have people to harvest the crops, they just die on the field. They don't get to supermarkets. And so, yes, food was already going to be going up. Now it's going to be going up even more. I was told 2 years ago by a very smart person that an Apple will cost as much as a Rolex watch in about 15 years. He really predicted this coming. Well, I don't know if it'll be that much, unless, I don't know, maybe a watch. It's my Apple Watch. But maybe it is, but man, I'm going to miss apple pie if that's the case. Because that would mean an apple pie is really, really expensive. Okay, so let me check something out here.
There's a growing argument right now that the white...
Oops. Okay, so I'm going to show you this video. This is one I just made today. Hang on. I'm going to show you this video that I made today. This is in response to the White House Correspondence Dinner assassination attempt, once again, a term I use loosely. But this whole reaction about this is why we need to have a ballroom. All right. There are some major issues with that rhetoric. And here's 5 reasons that argument is stupid.
There's a growing argument right now that the White House Correspondence Dinner proves we need a White House ballroom. It sounds intuitive. Something scary happens, and people say, we need a safer, more controlled space. But that logic doesn't actually hold up. First, the White House Correspondence Dinner isn't a government event. It's run by the White House Correspondence Association, a private organization. The White House doesn't own it, doesn't control it, and doesn't decide how it's structured. So using that event to justify building permanent government infrastructure is already a mismatch. You're solving a private event problem with a taxpayer-funded solution. Second, there's a legal issue people are glossing over: the Hatch Act. That law restricts how government resources can be used for political activity. And the Correspondence Dinner sits right in that gray area. Politicians speaking, media figures, messaging that can easily drift into politics. Move that into an official White House ballroom, and you don't solve the problem. You complicate it. Now you're asking, is this an official event? Is it political? Who's paying for it? Third, the size argument falls apart. The Correspondence Dinner is huge, thousands of people. Most ballroom proposals for the White House aren't even designed to handle something that big. So even if you built it, you'd still need an outside venue. Meaning the ballroom doesn't actually solve the problem it's being used to justify. And this gets to the core issue. The idea that safety requires a ballroom is a false choice. Security isn't about one building. It's about layers: screening, intelligence, coordination, perimeter control. The US government secures events far larger than the Correspondence Dinner all the time. A ballroom isn't the solution. It's just one possible setting. Finally, and maybe most importantly, this whole conversation is a distraction. Instead of asking what actually happened, how security worked, and what needs to improve, the focus shifts to a big visible project. Because building something feels like action, but it's not the same as fixing something. So no, the Correspondence Dinner doesn't prove we need a ballroom. It proves how quickly fear can be used to sell a solution that doesn't actually solve the problem.
So hopefully that answered some questions that people have, or addresses some arguments that people have. I'm like just really tired of this whole thing. They jumped on this almost immediately, acting like this was somehow proof that we needed this ballroom, and it would literally be illegal. The attorney general, the acting attorney general, went on TV today multiple times talking about how we should violate the law, the Hatch Act, by having this ballroom. Which, why does anybody as sackless as Donald Trump need so much ballroom anyway? But no, it's a violation of the Hatch Act. It wouldn't work anyway. All 5 of those reasons are just, it's just insane. Okay, so I've been living in Southern California most of my life. Apparently, most of the rest of the country has no idea how dependent the entire country is on California farms, which depend on migrant labor. I want to say if I like 20% of the produce comes from California. Like, it's a lot. California by itself is like the 6th largest economy in the world or something. It's insane. I mean, California is huge. The Republicans like to sit there and act like California is a failure. California props up this country. There's going to be a lot of extinct fruits and vegetables because of this. Some cannot be maintained in the current climate. There's going to be a lot of extinct animals. Like, we're not that far away from, like, our grandchildren, like children that are born in 10 years may never remember elephants, or may be the last generation to experience elephants, for instance, and a lot of other animals. Harry, how you doing, Harry? America is in decline. Open your eyes. Look into your federal government. Look outside your borders. Stupid people who think they aren't have taken over, and they're dangerous. Don't think you're finding any disagreement from me. Meaning they cannot be maintained without human intervention. Oh, the fruits and vegetables. Hi, RK. How you doing? I hear you miss me. I told him I told you too. So, wow, we got Resistance Kitty, we got Rainbow Kitty, we got Brett. Where's got Friend Zone? We got the whole gang here. Got Harry. Where's Gary? We just need Gary. Without Gary weighing in on his talking points. The assassination attempt was totally disgusting. Now, I think 99% of what comes out of the president's mouth is BS and morally wrong. But that's where I'm at. You know, I don't think it was staged, and I don't think it was justified. But this knee-jerk reaction from the right to make it seem like this is because people criticized him, or this is why we need the ballroom. The way that they are weaponizing this, the way that they are using this to justify evil. Like, evil does not justify another kind of evil. And that's the same way that Donald Trump's evil doesn't justify trying to kill him, but somebody trying to kill him doesn't justify Donald Trump's evil either. To get grassroots MAGA to understand your video, they'd have to pay attention to details and have a framework to understand issues of this sort. Good luck. Yeah, I'm not sure that if you're a grassroots MAGA, you're probably beyond actually paying attention to details at this point. These are the same people that were arguing earlier that Donald Trump didn't try to overthrow the country on January 6th. Yeah. So, yeah, Brett, at the beginning of the show, I was explaining, I needed to take a mental health break. It gets to be a lot. Hey, Professor Prof Ack. I think of you as Professor. I don't know what the AK-22. Layers like an onion. Oh, by the way, that was another thing. So with the Onion owns InfoWars now, sort of. I'm trying to I don't know how many of you are on Twitter or Blue Sky, but one of my favorite accounts is Liam Neeson. Not Liam Neeson, but Liam Neeson. He pretends to be a car, and all kinds of people are always thinking he's actually Liam Neeson. But anyway, he's got a great parody account. And I think it would be great. Like, I can see him taking over the InfoWars and being like a parody Alex Jones type. I think it would be hilarious. I also think any other president would have used one of those opportunities when the country is almost completely united in condemnation to bring the country together. And I agree. Like, we don't know what Biden would have done or said if somebody had tried to assassinate Biden or Obama or Clinton. But, and you can say, well, that's because nobody tried to kill them. Of course, they weren't doing the kind of evil things that Donald Trump is doing either. It kind of, to me, it just shows that the right wing doesn't really believe their own rhetoric. But I think about how Obama tried to unite the country after the school shooting in Connecticut, and even the right still just turned that into something to be divisive about. But but Trump goes on TV and talks about how it's the left's fault and the media's fault and all of this, and just uses it more divisiveness. Calling the sitting there and just saying anybody that disagrees with Trump is responsible for this. That is being divisive too. I got burned out of politics for a couple of weeks. My friend's friend channel in Cali got demonized. He had 20K subscribers. YouTube blew it away. Oh man, that sucks. People don't know how hard you have to work to try to build up a channel. Assuming you're at least average intelligent and not a racist and evangelical, think about the idiocy that is going on right now. And it's so weird. Like, I know people that are legitimately intelligent. Like, I have friends that, went a friend that went to UPenn, got his undergrad degree, got his graduate degree from law school, from University of Chicago Law School. I have friends that went to Harvard, friends that went to Yale. Like really intelligent people that otherwise are extremely smart. I have a friend that literally, he got his PhD in physics from Harvard, calculated the weight of Earth in his head. Trump supporters, I don't understand it. It's like people turn off their brain and they just turn into stupid. They just steer into the stupid. They're not stupid people, but they choose to be stupid when it comes to politics. But hey, they have used everything at their disposal, including attempt on the president's life to divide the country. It's disgusting. It is. Cash App Patel found out the hard way his social climbing girlfriend was cheating. Oh, yeah, that's right. She was like making out with somebody else when this happened or something. And after all those FBI agents did for her too, this is how they respond, how she responds. While I was gone, the whole Cash Patel thing happened too. Apparently, he also has a drinking problem now. I've been joking that we should call there's so many alcoholics in the Trump administration. We should call his cabinet the liquor cabinet. But yeah, we'll see how much longer Cash Patel follows. When it comes to things like this, Donald Trump will never fire somebody because of something that comes out in the media, because it came out in the media, and it'll look like he's reacting to that and he doesn't want to like concede anything. They found her with another guy in a room holding hands. They are afraid if they do not have the ballroom to keep yam tits busy, they are going to have their hands full. It's like he needed something to talk about other than the war. Now he's like, oh, we don't even need to fly anywhere. We'll just talk on the phone someday. This is how you know Donald Trump does not care about you. Because he does not care about getting the war resolved. The war he started. He got bored with it. He moved on. It's up to Pete Kegsbreath now. No person stood against McCarthyism until it got dangerously ridiculous. Is that what we're waiting for? It's what Republicans are waiting for, apparently. And John Fetterman. You look as stupid as the day is long. Okay. Laughing at your own jokes and agreeing with yourself. Many things we find frightening in the dark are welcoming when we shine light upon them. Okay. I don't know what that is referring to. Maybe buy a profile pig? That's right. How the bleep are Americans justifying the murder of shipwreck victim? Trump says it's okay, so it must be okay, I guess. They didn't have any problem bombing and murdering shipwreck survivors in the Caribbean, so I don't think that they're going to change their minds now that it's Iranians. Even if they don't really care about the ballroom, it's just literally a football to them. They just want to win. MAGA thinks this is a game, literally, and it's a team versus team. This is like you get these things like, oh well, the Democrats started the Klan, which is not entirely historically accurate, but I mean, many Democrats were involved in the formation of the Klan. It wasn't Republicans were also involved in the Klan, but it's neither here nor there. This is not 1866. It's not even 1966. Okay. Morpheus there is one of those people that isn't afraid to engage in actual substantive conversation. While the Republicans in the Senate and House don't agree with Trump, but they're all poop scared of him, and so kiss his bleep as needed to keep their seat until he leaves office. Yeah. I think there are some true believers like Jim Jordan, and I think there are some, like my representative is Mike McCall. I don't think he agrees with everything Trump says, but he's a bootlicker. So he licks boots. That's what he does. That's what they do. He doesn't have the courage to do what's right. He just wants to keep his seat. We all know that you're still here. You're all the same. Have to announce your departure like a teenage girl. Yeah. Like Morpheus goes to a party and everybody ignores him. And all the girls turn him down and covered their drinks when he walks by. And then he storms off in a huff. You're all stupid anyway. And then slams the door and everybody's like, who was that? Can you explain the difference between your and your? Probably not. And thank you. I missed that one earlier. It's been a while since I brought up the war on apostrophes. But yeah, remember the apostrophe. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of really serious things in the world. But respect the apostrophe. Morpheus is the inventor of the MAGA question. What's a woman? He really wants to know. This is like, I tell more people like Morpheus, a woman is someone who covers their drink when you walk by. Delusion does not care about IQ. Right. Donald Trump obsesses over IQ. So deluded people can care about IQ. But Donald Trump, honestly, if Donald Trump took an IQ test, I know there's like things about, like how there's these fake things. I'd be surprised if he tested in triple figures. Honestly, I'd be surprised if he had 100. 100 is average. I think he's probably below average. He does not, like based on his vocabulary, based on his syntax, based on his argument style, he does not seem like a very intelligent person. I'm not saying he's retarded. I even hate the word retarded. I don't think he's, like mentally disabled. But he's just kind of dumb. And I don't think he's ever had to like actually learn how to think. The learning how to think is actually a big part of thinking. My dad, we used to, this is a story I love to tell. When we were growing up, there were three boys. We were all evenly spaced. In fact, I'm 16 months and 21 days older than my younger brother and 16 months and 21 days younger than my older brother. So I'm the exact same age difference between the two of them. So I like to say I'm a median child. And we were in consecutive grades, so like 6th, 5th, and 4th. So anyway, my dad and my parents, we'd have dinner together as a family on weeknights, and then on weekends, it was kind of like fend for yourself kind of thing. But each night of the week, it would be like Mondays were my dad's night, Tuesdays were my mom's night, Wednesdays were my older brother's night, Thursdays were my night, and Friday nights were my little brother's night. And each night we'd get to choose what was for dinner. My mom or dad would make dinner based on whoever's night it was. And then that person would set the conversation. So we'd talk about whatever that person wanted to talk about. And with me, it was usually something to do with sports. And my dad was not a big sports fan, but he would, whichever one of us it was our night and we were talking about what we wanted to talk about, my dad would always say, like, why is this? Why is that? What about this? And he wasn't really trying to, what he was trying to do is get us to think about our assertions. And like, if we make a claim, could we back it up? Did we have some substance behind what we were saying? And I think this really helped with all three of us growing up to learn how to think, not to just repeat and regurgitate things, but to actually think, to follow through and look at substance and stuff. And I don't think a lot of people learn how to think. They just learn how to regurgitate. And you see a lot of that in MAGA. The problem was the assassination, if it was real, that is it failed. I think that it was real, but I also think that it is being exaggerated in terms of the guy never, apparently may not have even ever fired his gun and was never anywhere near Trump or anybody of relevance. He got caught breaching the outer security. Never confuse education with intelligence. You can have a PhD and be an idiot. Richard Feynman. Oh, man, have you ever read Feynman's book? That guy is awesome. Richard Feynman is awesome. But yeah, I think I remember. Hey, Wellington. I don't have beef with you. Boom. Sorry. Everyone has to laugh at their own jokes. We have to, in this dumpster fire of a world. Hey, I don't laugh at my own jokes because nobody else does. I don't want to be the only one laughing. Did you see Cash in the parking lot? He was on the Apple phone. I wonder if he placed bets. Has anybody checked, Brett? Has anybody checked to see if there were bets on whether there would be an assassination attempt on Trump at the White House Correspondence Dinner? Oh, and that's another thing that happened is the one dude that bet on the Afghanistan or on the Venezuela thing, that because he was participating in it. And not last week's, but if you subscribe to HBO, look at a week ago, yesterday's episode. because I know you've been in on this whole thing about the betting market things. John Oliver covered that whole thing. It was a really good episode. So if you haven't watched it, you might want to watch that. The history argument is rubbish. Parties have always changed and will always continue to change. Yes. Thank you. I got distracted and forgot to finish that thought. Yes. The Democrats of today are no longer are not the Democrats from years ago. It's not like being a Yankees fan or something. It's about discussing policy. And right now, the Democrats are not like a pro-slavery party or something. The problem with low-info voters is that they believe that it is the government's job to personally improve their standard of living. That, I'm not sure anybody really thinks that, to be honest. I think there are people who think that the government is preventing them from improving their standard of living. I think that the government's role should be to raise the floor. I think that if we live in the richest society, which, we claim to be, right, the richest society in the history of Earth, the wealthiest country ever, well, we should have the highest floor. If we're the country that is the wealthiest in the history of the world, and we're the country that is the country of liberty and freedom and all of that, we should have the highest floor in the history of the world. And we don't. We don't even have a top 10 floor in the world currently. I think that we actually, our present situation is we suppress people. We suppress women, we suppress minorities, we suppress immigrants. We pretty much, if you're not a straight white cisgender dude, you're being suppressed in some way. And even then, some of us are being suppressed because, we don't think that other people should be suppressed. He even denied falling down as they were pulling him off the stage. He got like 3 steps and then he just fell down like a bag of potatoes trying to walk or something. I wonder if he was scared and he just didn't have his legs under him, which, it would be fair. The one thing that I wonder about, Brett, maybe you've seen this, or Kitty or somebody, why was Vance taken out first? I saw that, I meant to look it up and see what was going on. Does anybody know why Vance was taken out before Trump? Because that seems to be backwards. Is it just because he was closer to the exit, but I don't know. The whole system is government broken. The government wants us arguing against ourselves over which political party is better, when in reality neither are truly for the American people. Nothing really changes. I think one is better. I think the Democratic Party is better. I definitely think that they have issues and there is a lot of room for improvement. But I don't think that both parties are the same. I feel like there's this kind of false dichotomy to where you've got either both parties are the same or one party is perfect. And it's like both parties are flawed. One is more flawed than the other. And the realistic thing to do is to just go with the one that is less flawed and try to improve that. That's my perspective. I think that there are flaws in the Democratic Party, but I don't think that they're, outright fascist the way that the current Republican Party is. 20 minutes into that CBS interview, oh, you assume that it's like all you do is just say pedophile, rapist, and traitor, and why do you assume he's talking about you? Well, guilty dog barks first. That is the government's job to improve people's standard of living. That is I agree that it should be, but that's kind of a philosophical, whether or not it should be is a philosophical point of view. I agree with that philosophy. He has to obsess over IQ because he can't brag about his. He probably would if he could. Personally, as in a man in black suit is going to show up to their door with a briefcase. The government is supposed to facilitate infrastructure and education. Yeah. Facilitate infrastructure, education. I think that there is historical evidence that the progressive taxes lead to more social mobility, and that we've been like social mobility has become less and less over the last 40 some years as we keep cutting taxes for the wealthy. And this is one of the issues I've had with both Obama and Clinton and Biden. Somebody needs to start taxing the rich again. We need to raise taxes on the rich. You said you cannot justify the assassination attempt by referencing the bad things Trump has done, but Americans justify the assassination of foreigners. I don't justify the assassination of anyone. I'm not being inconsistent. I don't think anybody should be assassinated. I don't know what, but I don't justify Trump because he was, somebody tried to assassinate him either. I don't know what point you're trying to make. But yes, I condemn doing things like, even when it comes to bad people like Moderno, what's his name? The Venezuelan president that we kidnapped. Didn't assassinate him, but I condemned that at the time too. It's not our job to go around deciding which countries' leaders deserve to be leaders, or to assassinate leaders in Iran or whatever. Could he be how the market's too low IQ voters? Could be how he markets. Yeah. Oh, people who think that are just idiots. Okay, isn't 90% of the American general public low IQ? This is why Donald. Well, 90% of the American public didn't vote for him. Most of the people that voted for, he only got he didn't even, of the people that voted, he didn't even get the majority of the votes. He just got more votes than Kamala Harris. I see the Union Jack as your icon, and I'll assume that you don't live there. The ideas many people have about money and wealth in the USA are ridiculous. They think all wealth is generational. Harry is actually in England. There was there was polymarket bets. I'm so shocked. Probably on Cashew, you can bet on anything on their app. I wonder if that guy, I wonder if the coal guy placed bets on the president being assassinated, or there being an assassination attempt. Be honest, there is an argument going on that should not be going on. Trump and his cabinet are corrupt. No bleeping argument. Americans on both sides are flapping their gums, doing nothing. What is the argument that isn't going on that should be going on? I don't think there's an argument there. Trump and his cabinets are corrupt. I believe that 100%. How many of these people, that's an argument that's going on. How many of these, maybe not in the Republican Party, but it's going on. How many of these people are up in arms about every little thing, are the same people professionally and intellectually that they were for the first time Obama ran for office? It's funny because they sit there and they do things like, well, you were okay when Obama did it, but it's like, you weren't okay when Obama, they'll take something like the deportations and they'll say, well, you were okay when Obama did it. And it's like, well, you were criticizing Obama for doing it. and now you're not criticizing him. Now you're defending Trump for doing it more. Like if you're every time you're sitting there and you're looking at what you perceive to be my double standard, which is not always the double standard you think it is, you're actually also identifying your own double standard. Not you, friend zone, but you know what I'm saying, the MAGAs. I forgot the MAGA sycophant's name, but he tried to start a USA chant after the incident yesterday, and people looked at him in silent disgust. Are you talking about that Bo dude, Bo Ludin? I'm not sure. What was the event where he was trying to do that? Like a press conference or something? Or is that Peter Tukadusi? Vance's guy just got to him first, that's all. Oh, so it's because they're each assigned their own details, so it's still, that's crazy. Why did it take that long to get to Trump? Because it was like more than a few seconds passed. I don't subscribe to the suppression argument. I think it is exaggerated all the time and is becoming a political talking point, taking it from a true issue. I think the suppression is there. It's just not it's not overt. It's societal and it's about awareness, not just policy. Like they'll do things. They've done things, Harry. Since you don't live here, like they've done tests where they will take the exact same application, and the only thing they change is the name, but everything else, work experience, and education, GPA, everything is carbon copy exactly the same. They just changed the name. But like one name will be LaToya Jackson or something, and then the other name will be Chad Smith. To where one name is a white guy's name and the other name is a black woman's name. And the white guy will get like more callbacks than the black woman. And this is like categorical. They've done multiple studies like this where it happens all the time. So why is that? Is there something subliminal or unconscious that's going on where people are just unconsciously accepting that a white guy is going to be a better person for the job than a black woman when everything else is exactly the same? Why is it that there's systemically more callbacks for the white guy than the black woman? These are questions that deserve real thought and real answers instead of just DI is stupid. I think there is suppression. I don't know. I think part of what's caused it is just that it's ingrained in our culture that people automatically think these things. And go and you watch reviews of TV shows, for instance, and if there's a gay character on there, there'll all these people that are like, oh, they have to have the gay guy on there, as though gay people don't exist in the real world. And actually, when you talk about LGBTQ people, they're actually underrepresented on TV based on, actual studies. So anyway, there's real oppression going on. It's just not active suppression all the time. Sometimes it's subliminal. And then that's why we, or me, as, like a middle-aged cisgender white dude, that's straight and has like I need to be aware of those things. I need to be aware of how things are different for women or for colored people people of color. I need to be conscious of those things. Like I used to have a meeting with an old job I had. There was my team. There was me and two women, and we'd have these Skype conversations. Well, Google video conversations 3 times a week, and they I'd always have my video on because I thought, well, I'm being respectful, and then they wouldn't always have their video on, and I would think. First, I was thinking, well, that's disrespectful, and then one day I was like, I got the video conference going up. Better go comb my hair. So I went, took 2 minutes to comb my hair, came back, and one of the girls was putting on her makeup, and she's like, "Sorry, got another big meeting coming up, and I need to put my makeup on before the meeting." And it's like it occurred to me, women generally tend to, have to put on makeup and stuff before they go to a video meeting. They have to worry about things that I don't have to worry about. So I learned something, and I checked that critical thought that was in my head. So that's what I mean is like sometimes we need to be aware of what's happening and check ourselves, recognize, oh, that was actually a misogynistic thought you had, Kelly. And instead of just denying that I could have one, recognize it's there and kick it in the seat. Like we need to combat those things. Okay, so anyway, BMX says lesser of two evils, I suppose. And that's the thing, is it is the lesser of two evils. I'm not sure the Democrats are evil, but they're certainly far from perfect. But Donald Trump is evil. It's more like imperfect versus evil. But the idea more than 50% of the country is suppressed is wrong, in my opinion. More than 50% of the country is women. And women are objectively make less money. They objectively get less pain medication. Up until, a generation ago, it wasn't even that long ago that women were allowed to even have their own credit rating. Hang on one second. I need to plug in my laptop. I thought I had it plugged in, but it's not plugged in on the south end. Hang on a second. So, yeah, women are more than half the country, and women, at least to some degree, are oppressed still. And it's like our role as people who are not in that position need to like understand how that is, instead of trying to push back against the reality. How about we try to change the reality? It's more suppressed. It's actually unheard. It's more than suppressed. It's actually unheard. Yes. Thank you. And the first people we need to listen to are ourselves. Like, I learned this lesson when I was in my 20s. To check myself all the time. And when it comes to race, when it comes to women, it's like, I had this conversation with a black friend, and he said, "Do you think of yourself as a man or a white man?" And I said, "I just think of myself as a man." He said, "Well, I'm a black man." And I'm like, "Well, that's the problem." And he's like, "But you don't understand. You can think of yourself as just a man, not as a white man. Because every day you're not being told you're a black man by society." So I think that we, as cisgender white men, we just kind of coast through. We're never confronted with sexism or racism, especially if we're not sexist or racist. We're not out there doing sexist, racist things. So we're just not aware of it. It's not on our scope. It's not on our radar. So we don't see it when it happens. We need to open up our eyes and kind of pay attention. to what is going on in the world around us so that we can see those things happen. And then we can confront those things when they do. Friend Zone says, I've never waited on the government to do anything for me on a national, statewide, or local. Then again, I'm sovereign. The richest man is the one that needs the least. Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's a thing. But people need health care, and not everybody can afford it. Like, sometimes people do need the government to do things for them. There's nothing wrong with that. That is why we have government. We can't all just live on an island on our own. You don't pave your own streets. You don't have your own military. I know the USA is the wealthiest nation with the most powerful military, but you are not close in any other area. Yeah, see the Human Freedom Act. Right. That's exactly my point. Like, we are not the greatest country in the world. I'm sorry if that offends, but we're not. There's not any real measure by which we are, other than we're bigger than you. You know, we've got the biggest military. We've got the most money. Yeah, that doesn't make us the greatest. It's actually to our shame that we have the biggest military and we're the wealthiest nation. But we also have of any industrialized country, the largest percentage of people in poverty. Why do you think that is? So I agree with you, Lily. New York is pushing for taxing the rich. Yes, they are. And the rich, at least some of them, are mad about it. I think we need to stop worrying about what the rich think. If Elon Musk wants to take his billions and go somewhere else, fine. Let him. I don't think he will. He knows where his bread gets buttered. You think England's going to give him $38 billion? And the fact that 1/3 of the U.S. bankruptcies are due to medical bills and 1 in 3 GoFundMes are for medical debt. It's just preposterous. Like, this is, every other free country in the world has managed to figure out, even Mexico has figured it out now. Why can't we figure out how to get universal health care? And the fact is, so desensitized to school shootings and mass shootings across America. Nobody else has trouble with mass shootings. And the fact that your insurance companies are unregulated to such a degree they can effectively do whatever they want. Yeah, because they don't want the government making decisions about when we get medical care. We'd much rather have insurance companies driven by profit doing that. Am I on the U.S. Department of War Council? I don't understand that. I assume there's a joke there. But I'm missing the punchline. There's a group of billionaires and millionaires in New York that already agree that being taxed won't break them. Seemingly, they are on board. Some threaten to leave, but never do. They never do. There was some kind of wealth tax in Massachusetts that everybody screamed was going to drive everybody to leave. You know what happened? The percentage of people who are millionaires went up. Because a rising tide lifts all boats. When you tax the rich, you know what happens? It's counterintuitive, but the rich actually get richer. Because the poor people have more money to spend, and that keeps getting passed up. It's called a multiplier effect. You actually increase the amount of money that circulates in the economy when you give poor people more money. And then all money eventually just floats up. So it comes back to the rich people. And so then you just keep it circulating. And that's how you keep a vibrant economy. That's the difference between a stream and a pond, is circulation. Even people with the best insurance end up paying about 20% of the bill anyway. Yep. He got more electoral votes. Not all votes have. No, he got more electoral votes, and at least against terrorists, he got more popular votes. but he got less than half of the popular vote. So he didn't get a majority of the votes. He got a plurality. And the fact that people with chronic illnesses, Harry, dude, we need you to come to America and talk sense to Americans. The fact that people with chronic illness suffer immensely into the American healthcare system, especially people with diabetes. They have to spend about $1,000 a month for rationed insulin. When I didn't have a dime or a dollar making $7.50 an hour, I didn't blame the government, boomers, my parents, or anyone else. I paid my tuition. I went to work and kept working. I don't think it has to be one of like either or things. As Michelle Obama said, when we pass through the door of opportunity, let's not shut it behind us. I don't think it's about whether we blame the government for not helping us. I think it's about we should be for a government that helps those who are in need. It's not about expecting it from me. It's about my tax dollars and how I want them spent. And I would rather have my tax dollars spent on giving some kid lunch than bombing some kid in Iran. It's like, I don't have a problem with my tax dollars feeding children. As we can talk about whether or not we should expect our children to be fed by the government, but that's not really what I'm talking about. Double standards everywhere. Also, two sets of justice rules. Crime example is Zach Witkoff getting caught with coke, trying to push into a club, getting arrested, charges dropped. You or me? Oh, wow, I didn't know about that one. But yeah, somehow I think if I got caught with cocaine, I would be in jail. Oh, the chat was attempted at the Correspondence Dinner. Didn't happen. Oh, well. I get tired of another thing I get tired of with all this is like the problem with America first and all of that kind of stuff is like this notion that if you disagree with Trump, then you're anti-American. Trump is not America. Donald Trump and America are two different things. I can be pro-American and anti-Trump. Donald Trump is anti-American. No, I honestly believe no human being in the history of our country has done more damage to America than Donald Trump is. Donald Trump hates America. Donald Trump is poison to America. He's not loving. If you love Trump, you can't love America. If you love America, you can't love Trump. How's that sound? Because he all he does is damage it. I think it's highly subconscious, which is always going on in your mind. Off if I could get along better with, and your brain always picks up people most similar to yourself. Yeah, I agree with that. You have to live here to know. Brett, they make this issue all the time here in the UK as well. Trust me, I get it. Yeah, it's not like UK doesn't have its own history of like empirical overreach and all that kind of stuff. It's like what was that? I saw something about England has created, or Britain is the UK, I guess, has created more independence days than any country in the world. Tyler's Cycle of Democracy. Bondage to spiritual faith to great coverage. I don't know what all that is. Sorry, I don't know what all you're talking about, friend zone. Most people won't acknowledge or even see the pattern. Society has expectations of all people. I don't think they're always inherently bad. No, I don't think everything is inherently bad. I listen to both sides. MAGAs are in control. MAGAs are bad. Trumpers are bad. the U.S. is the most corrupt modern democracy on earth, the opposition has bought up all the pearls to clutch. Just to point out the way the measure, the gender pay gap is extremely. No, there's okay, the reason, okay, so here there is a pay gap, and then they say that the reason that the pay gap is not fair is because women have to leave the workforce to take care of their children, and we use that. But even when you account for that, then there's still a pay gap. And there's also, why are women the ones that have to leave the workforce to raise the children? So there's still, like, this is the problem when you take things that are systemic, is you can't pull one thing out of the system. It's like everything else is connected. The fraudulent things are still attached to the same system. Historian Alexander Fraser Tyler, democracy is deemed temporary because once this realization occurs, voters support politicians who promise the most benefits, causing unsustainable fiscal policy. I do pay my taxes. I'm not supposed to pave the streets or buy personal tanks. That's what my taxes do, and I never complain about them, no matter who is in charge. And that's fair. But I also think, like, this is for the same reason I don't have a problem with my taxes paying for school lunches or for healthcare. Like, that's how I vote, is I vote based on how I think my tax dollars, how I want my tax dollars spent. Somebody voting differently does not mean they're wrong or something, but I'm saying, it's, to me, this is not about me sitting around complaining the government isn't doing something for me. It's not about me. It's about the government. I do think that my government and my tax dollars, I want to help the most people. My view is that the society of the most essential aspect of any society is its people. And that what we should do as a government is to make things the best for those people, because the more those people prosper, the more that society prospers. So if my tax dollars pay for some kid to eat food and learn and go to school and then go to college and then go to grad school, and that graduate student cures some sort of cancer, my tax dollars were well spent. Like, the society benefits when we use our tax dollars to benefit the society. And it's not about sitting around whining about what should be for me. Well, we don't have the biggest military by choice, it's by necessity. No, it's by choice. It's not by necessity. We don't have to do it. And people aren't sitting, like, we could cut our military in half and still have the largest military in the world. We don't have to spend this much money. There's no necessity there. People aren't sitting around waiting to conquer America. Welcome back, Kelly. I took a mental break. How you doing there, Mr. Colonel Oils, aka Skippy? And thank you. I just needed to take some time away to rest my brain and my soul. It's not as simple as just stop caring about what the rich man. It's not as simple as just stop caring about. I don't think it's as simple as just stopping about what the rich think. But I think that we can care too much about what the rich think. I think that there is a lot more nuance involved, but I think part of that nuance is stop making it so that the rich are the ones that write all the rules. If we didn't bulk up our military, we'd be living under fascist Germany right now, or communist China. No, we wouldn't. Like, that is a statement that is just unqualified. No, we would not be living under fascist Germany right now, or communist China. China wasn't going to come and conquer us if we didn't have the largest military in the world. That's just brazenly untrue. China hasn't tried to conquer anybody. Why isn't China conquering England? Why isn't China conquering France? Why isn't China conquering Japan? Politicians and the wealthy graduated from the same prep schools and university. They're in the same frats and country clubs. Yeah, this is true. To some degree. Barack Obama went to Harvard. Ted Cruz went to Harvard. That does not mean that Ted Cruz and Barack Obama think the same on every category. Like I think this is like a generalization fallacy, friends. The rich don't want company people. The rich don't want company people like Donald Trump. Don't want others to be rich because some of them have more resources than them. They could care less about anybody else. I think that if you look at Donald Trump has the richest cabinet in the history of the country. Well, actually, all our presidents are related. That's funny. To the rich, more is never enough. I want America to be the best and always on the planet. So I'm not an American phobe, just saying still wouldn't be. Oh, hey. Oh, fun fact of the day: domestic pigs turn back into feral boars when released into the wild. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. You are on top of the charts for some things like the number of people killed by police, of deaths by homicide per capita, the number of adults that I believe angels are real, a number of people and relatives, poverty per capita, the number of school ratings per capita, school shootings per capita, the number of stabbings per capita. Yeah. You're just mad you lost another country you took over. I've been stabbed before, nothing serious, but it did. Wow. I've never been stabbed. I can honestly say that. Hopefully. I think people who talk politics on YouTube like you do, where you take these extreme stances, are people who hate America. What extreme stance am I taking? I don't understand what is my extreme stance here? That we wouldn't be conquered by China if we didn't have the most military spending in the world? Dude, you're just like the guy that just has to like say stupid things. You've got MAGA Tourette's. Americans love to bring up stabbings in Britain whenever I see. Yeah, when they learn they have a worse stabbing. And we also have more violent crimes per capita than Britain. If and it's like, oh, well, if you don't count guns, well, guns is a pretty big part of violent crime, isn't it? What do they have, like seven shootings in England per year or something? Like the amount of people that are murdered by gunfire in England or Japan is usually like around 10 or 20 at most. It's either way, with angry voices behind it. Yeah, you're just saying stupid things. FYI, the man, or was it men, sold the patent for $1. No, they were not American. Any Americans like that? They sold the patent. Oh, I can't remember what you're talking about, but I seem to remember the patent for what? I never thought they were just stabbings in Britain. I just assumed it was harsh talk and middle fingers. No, Harry, I'm talking about almost every country. Approximately 1/4 of the world was one way or another governed or overseen by the British government. I don't know what Death Jar Jar is coming. I don't know. He's just rambling on. I'm speaking of I don't know what you think England has to do with this conversation. I'm speaking like England used to, the sun never set on the British Empire. What does that have to do with America's military? I'm speaking on the aggregate. There are millions of able-bodied people laying in their own squalor that have no notion of doing one damn thing. I disagree. I don't think that's true at all. I think that is just hyperbolic nonsense. I think that there are, and I also think that like you have. I think it's there's only so much time. Like if you're an able-bodied person, capable of working, it's not like you can just lay around and collect unemployment and food stamps forever. I think it's like 6 months out of 3 years that you can collect SNAP benefits. So I mean, like, it's just not true that this is happening. It's judged on overall earnings, not hours worked. Kelly, your YouTube is turned up too high. I think it was trying to say that Trump always says that a certain color of woman is low IQ, and he says it consistently only about that color. I was trying to say that Trump is always says, yes, he always. I don't know where I must have missed something, but yeah, when he talks about low IQ people, invariably I think it's like more than half the time he's talking about black women. There's been a couple of times where it'll be like a white man, and sometimes it'll be about a black man, but most of the times it's about black women. He almost exclusively uses that as a pejorative against black women. I don't know why Jar Jar is still going on about England from 100 years ago. The gender pay gap is judged by overall earnings, not hours worked. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. So why do women work fewer hours then? Why are you saying women work fewer hours? I voted for Harris too. I'm just one black guy. I'm not supposed to know anything. Well, you know a lot. I don't know. I don't think that there are millions of people that are sitting there scamming the system. I just don't. There might be some, but it's not that easy. And a lot of the things like Medicaid, for instance, you can't. It's not like you collect a Medicaid check or something. And SNAP benefits, like if you live in Texas, are really hard to get. The Democrats lost when they didn't let the people choose their candidate. That's such a, we're not talking about that. I don't know if I agree with that or not. I don't even know what language that is. We bulked our military up to 5. You know, it's the year 2026, not 1941, right? Darth, you had to bulk up your military in a world war. Shocking, I know. Oh, good grief. Will you people please turn off the talk show crap? I did. What do you, I don't, what talk? Is there some kind of, if there are two conservative think tanks, Fraser and Cardo, asserting with evidence that America is a flawed democracy, it might be time to pay attention. Everyone had to bulk up their military during the World War, but no other country has kept their military like that except pariah states. We're not the strongest anymore. Since Iran, we have depleted 75% of launchers, 73% of drone launches, 40% of long-range drone attacks, 60% of ballistic and cruise missile launchers. Well, that's why we need like trillions of new dollars to pay for it. I don't know where you studied world history, Jar Jar, but I don't think that was an accredited school. Did you go to Trump University? Okay, we're just skipping over the China. We're skipping over Jar Jar. There's this huge debate between Jar Jar and Harry. And Jar Jar as being typically Jar Jar and just being an insufferable little nincompoop. Oh, I tried to say black, but YouTube moderation itself struck the message in context. Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. China is not my enemy. China is a threat, but it doesn't want a war. There's a difference. China was never going to invade us. Like, it's just so dumb. Are they threatened? Are they not? No, they are not threatening invasion right now. We are not Taiwan, dummy. We're the ones invading other countries. We literally are invading Iran right now. We already invaded Venezuela. Read a book, Jar Jar. Read a book. We are threatening invasion of a bunch of places, so what's your point? And America has invaded Iraq twice, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Libya, Somalia, Bosnia. I could go on. The United States has attacked more countries since World War II than any other country in the world by a long shot. It's not even close. And no country has attacked us ever, except for Japan in World War II. Well, maybe England in 1812 or something. We're the ones that are hostile. We're the ones attacking other countries. Read a history book, Jar Jar, really. Maybe the U.S. should keep its health care and food care for its... See, this is my point. We have the money that we can just, instead of spending it on killing Iranian children, why don't we spend it on feeding American children? So Lee says, sorry, typing on YouTube stream is difficult. Their patent for insulin was sold. Oh, yeah, okay, that's it. Thank you, Lily. That's something. NATO did not back our plan on Iran. They didn't even have a chance to. Why are you saying stupid things, Jar Jar? We are not in your bubble. We actually live in the world where people are literate and read and actually have curiosity. We are not in the let's just regurgitate stupid Trump statements. No, NATO did not back our attack on Iran. That's dumb. Stop being dumb. Then go live somewhere else. I don't hate America. You hate America. You go live somewhere else. Criticizing Trump doesn't mean I hate America. Trump hates America. You love an American-hating president. Why do you hate America, Jar Jar? Stop hating America. If you don't like it, go live in Russia, or go live in Israel. Go ahead. You're free to move. Donald Trump, even Donald Trump doesn't agree with you on NATO. No, it didn't. No European country or NATO was consulted about America's planned attack on Iran. So how do you work out? And just saying stupid things. This is just the entire MAGA world now. Is just say stupid things. Just say stupid things. If I say enough stupid things, then we can, I just argue about the stupid things I said instead of having to actually talk about real things. That's a stupid thing to say, Jar Jar. It's stupid. No. NATO did not back our plans to attack Iran. That's just dumb. They didn't know about it. They were forced into it because Donald Trump's stupidity, and they have opposed it at every turn. You did. I criticize Trump and I don't criticize America. I'm trying to point out, Jar Jar, that Donald Trump and America are two different entities. America is not Donald Trump. Donald Trump hates America. You love an America hating president. You make 0 sense. So, okay. All right. So we're at 2 hours. So I'm going to stop here. Hopefully I'll come back tomorrow. We'll see how I'm doing. But thanks to everybody for joining. Good to see everybody again. Harry and Brett and Kitty and Friendzone. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, I think.